All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking. This is our weekly public speaking masterclass where we talk about public speaking and how we can even be better at public speaking. So tonight is no different. We've got a good one for you, and that is lessons learned at the $1 Million Speaker Summit. Yes. $1 million, actually $1 million lessons learned at the $1 Million Speaker Summit. So I thought it'd be a really great idea if we just kind of had some open forum and talked about what worked and what didn't work. I know I learned a lot of lessons that I wanted to share with you. So I will start with some lessons, and then I want to hear from you because, you know, again, we're a collective family here and we all see things differently. And we often see things through different colored glasses. So I want to hear, I want to see what your rose-colored glasses say about the summit. I have so much fun. Yeah, there you go. And there's Don. Don has his rose glasses on, and that was cool. That was so cool. All right, so here's some lessons that I learned. Let me make sure nobody, yeah. CJ, if someone needs to be admitted, yeah. Do you get a ding? Tell me if you get the ding too, because I get a ding. But just when they come, tell me if you get the ding. I don't know if people get the ding. But one thing that changed in Facebook, if you're not familiar, if you haven't been keeping up, is as of September 27th, they have made it mandatory for people to either have a waiting room or a password. And if you don't have one clicked, which I had them both off, they automatically put you in waiting room, which is better than password. It's a lot less complicated for the users that are trying to come in. So that's what's happening. That's why you all had to be admitted for the first time to the class. So, okay, enough said about Zoom. All right, so lessons learned. All right, so I learned many, many lessons. I mean, it ran really smooth compared to the events online that I've been to. I mean, I've been to 5. I spoke at 2 of them, and I've guested at 3 3-day events. And I'm telling you, ours went smoother, probably because I have gone to some of those. And again, I had extensive conversations with CJ ahead of time and with Danella. We had a staff support meeting with all the speakers and the sponsors ahead of time. So we did all the right things. And I don't know if these other people have done that, but it is, God, it's tricky in this. But here's a few things that I learned because my sales were not, to be honest with you, as high as normal. All right. They just were not, they were half of what I normally do. So I had to go back and kind of meditate and think about it. And some of the things that I realized could have affected the sales. Now, at the end of the day, yes, we want to help people. Yes, we want all that, you know, yeah, big heart stuff. But at the end of the day, we're there to make some money. Agreed? Right? Amen? I mean, we all have to keep business, to keep and I hope you got some music going on. We're going to have music now at Passionately Speaking forever, now that you started that. So what do? We need to keep on rolling, keep those doggies moving. So that, you know, so we need to make those sales. So it only was not even 50% of what I usually do, but I'm following up and doing the things I need to be doing. So I'm like thinking, okay, you know, there's a reason. Everything has a reason. Now, in an online, and this is what I concluded, my own experience being the first time. I did do a 1-day event before, but 3 days is a little different, a lot different, let me say that. So I know some things, and even Dr. Renee and I had a conversation yesterday about it. So, and I want you to know, because eventually you're all going to put on your own events, whether it's a 1-day, half a day, or whatever. I don't recommend a full 3-day for any of you yet at this time, but to know that's in your future. All right. Hello, Janine. You put your...
So, Jim.
Janine.
Hi, how are you?
Wait a minute. Okay, Janine.
Yes.
This is how you're coming into the room. That's how you're showing up. So put that video on.
I can't.
Okay, you showed up at the event the whole time with your video.
Yes, I did. But I've been up all night and didn't do anything to my hair, and I have a show this weekend in LA.
All
So
right, but we don't care. Look at Brenda's like shaking her head. She doesn't care. Your hair looks good, Brenda.
Just
Your hair
put
looks
a hat on. Just put a hat on, and you're fine.
Put a hat on, yeah.
Right, we'll pass with that.
Put a
No
wig
problem.
on.
Put a wig on, whatever.
Show up.
Show up.
all right,
Yeah.
I'm
Show
gonna
up.
go get a hat.
Show
I'm
up.
gonna go
No
get a hat.
excuses. No excuses.
I'm gonna go get a hat.
Oh, here, how about this one? Stop it.
Yeah, stop it. That's a better one. Stop it.
Do you know that Bob Newhart just died?
Oh, Bob Newhart just died.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
Bob
died.
Newhart died.
Someone told me inside of the room that like he died like the day after I showed that video. And so I told, it was at
Oh.
Herrera, and I told him, I said, don't tell anybody, I don't want you to tell anybody and bring death to this event, All right, so Jean, where are you? Come with your video on.
It's not working. I'll have to go back out, but
Okay.
but Jim and I are putting groceries away. So
No worries. Okay. I'm
Okay.
just gonna razz you guys. Okay. So lessons learned about the $1 Million Speaker Summit and the sales. Okay. So number one, I think I might have had too much PowerPoint. Now it's the same amount of PowerPoint that I have in my live event. I did vamp it all. I did I had to change everything because now it's more virtual speaking, but I know in real life, in live events, when, and how I teach it is every time you use a PowerPoint and you go like this to the PowerPoint, it's like a disconnect from your audience. So that's why I recommend do not use PowerPoint in short presentations because you don't have enough time to make it up, right? At a live event, I got a lot of time to make it up, right? Because I'm going to be at break time. I talk to people beforehand. I talk to people after it's, the day's over. I'm there talking to people, and I didn't have that capability really this time. So I may not have been able to reconnect as strongly as I do when it's live. So how could I have eliminated that? Going forward, I would have less PowerPoint and I would have more hot seats and more panels and more of that kind of just personal me interacting and me talking. Okay, so that's number one, and that's what I recommend. Be careful, don't let your PowerPoint steal your presentation, or upstage you or any of that. And perhaps, again, I would really appreciate any feedback, but this is kind of like something I'm concluding myself. So yeah, not enough audience interaction. And then the one thing that Dr. Renee and I talked about that we both just so totally agree on is when it's the live event on Saturday night after I made my offer. Now I messed up the offer. That goes without saying. I screwed it up because I looked at the clock and, I thought, I'm all about time, and so I went, oh crap, and so I just kind of ended it, and it was abrupt and it was real bad. So up until then it was okay, but yeah, don't just forget that part. But afterwards, usually when it's a live event, what I do is we go and have a party. Everybody goes up to my hotel room. I get a suite and everybody goes up. I have food, delicious food. I have Perrier and I have wine and I have champagne. And anybody interested, whether they filled out a form or not, gets to come up to my room, plus my masterminders from the last year. And we just have a good old time and it's all elegant. And then I take people into a separate room and talk to them about what they want to do. But it's a really good, fun time. Well, I didn't have that. I wanted that, and I was talked out of that, and I didn't hold my ground enough, and I just kind of swayed with the wind a little bit, and I should have done that, and just had a little button, an extra little button that says, Arvee's $1 Million Suite or something like that, and party with Arvee, I don't know, something, and taking them into a separate room, because the idea of taking them to the help desk I mean, that's like, right? Right, Dr. Renee? Ooh, let's go meet RV in the registration and help.
In the lobby of the hotel.
In the lobby instead of the suite where I have
Well,
flowers.
yeah.
The suite or the penthouse suite, and have your gloves on, as I said.
The penthouse suite. So
RV's
even if you
penthouse
use,
suite.
yeah, even if you use the VIP room instead of the
exactly.
registration,
Hello.
it would have been better.
Hello. Do.
Yeah,
Right?
it just sounds better.
But like I said, I let somebody else take that idea from me. So I won't let that happen again. It's just experience. I thought it would be okay. I totally agree. Totally take responsibility. If I would have thought about it, I wouldn't have done that. But I didn't. I thought, oh, okay, no problem, right? So my responsibility on that one. But I learned from it, so that's good. That's a good thing. So that won't happen again. We'll make sure it's a lot of fun. And then there was something else that just, and then something else. Brenda told me, which I didn't realize, you got to be careful. And sometimes when you get rushed, even me, when I get rushed, see what happened is I thought I had plenty of time, right? And so I added that extra breakout storytelling thing. That wasn't even on my schedule, but I thought, well, look, I got lots of time. I don't want to end this at 4. So I added that. Right? Well, then that pushed me over the edge too far because I forgot I was having mastermind people come up. Right? And then, and I forgot. And that took 30 minutes or whatever. So again, right? So then the other thing I messed up because of my excitement or my hurriness or rushness, and Brenda told me, which I love, her honesty. What did you say I said? Don't do this, ladies and gentlemen. What did I say? They could have rubbed people the wrong way, but you're muted. Yeah, what did I tell them what I said? They might have caught it. Maybe they didn't.
You can only buy the $1 million, the mastermind event at the event. If they called on Monday, she wasn't letting them in.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that.
Did you? I mean,
yeah.
really?
Was that a lesson from Loral Langemeier or something?
Well,
she does that.
No, a lot of actually, yeah. Most of the top sellers, they do that.
They do that.
Does that. When
yes.
I go away, the deal goes with me, right? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, most all of them do that and say that. And so somewhere it was floating around, I guess, in my head, because that's certainly not true. That's certainly not the way I feel. That's not true. They could call me on Monday. I think I was trying to get them to take some action, because people won't take action. See, if they wait till Monday, then they forget about you. So you always want to get people to take action, but maybe that was a bit too strong. Because you know how loving I am, and then all of a sudden I'm going whack, 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 whack. Okay, yes, Jackie, please.
I don't know if other people feel this way or not, so just take it with a grain of salt. I think Zoom butt is a real thing. And I personally just got fatigued sitting there. Okay. So my suggestion, and I know you always do the offer at the end, my suggestion would be make your offer a little earlier, because after 3 days, I was just ready to check out.
Well, it was on the second day in the evening, but that is very, very good advice, Jackie. And I think better place would be right after lunch. What do you all think? Yeah. Do something and then do it after lunch. Yes, Dr. Renee?
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm agreeing. I'm raising my hand.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think you're right. Jackie, thank you. That is really...
Are you saying after lunch? Arvee, are you saying after lunch on the second day or the last day?
No, second day.
Second day, after we dance. After the dancing. Yeah, the dancing, the music was great. Now, does CJ have to license that music? Does he have to pay for that or anything? Or can he just get it off of Pandora or wherever?
Danella explained that a little bit. because it's a private party and a private seminar, we're not putting it up on Facebook or anything.
Okay.
That's okay. That's why DJs have been spinning records for years at parties and weddings. They don't get licensed, no.
Okay, got
But
it.
if we were going to like have the recording and have it put somewhere where people could purchase it or something like that and have it be public, then there
We
might
have to pay.
be laws. But most of the time, people just slap hands and that's it.
Okay. Well, the dancing was fun. CJ had great music.
Yeah, I've been in the
And then-
cigar business for years and years, and I've never heard of anybody getting in trouble. The only thing is sometimes on Facebook, if someone puts it on, Facebook will just not show it. You know, I've had promo videos of $1 Million, and Facebook won't put them on because it wasn't royalty-free music. Yeah, yeah. So very good question, though. Yes, Liz.
I have a question. So the offer, you made it on the second day. Did you make it again? Because I didn't watch the third on Saturday. Did you make it? Because I would think that you'd like to make it at the end.
I made it again on Sunday.
In the morning.
I messed up because I messed it all up. So then I just asked for permission to just kind of read, you know, go
Okay.
over it again in case anybody, you know, was confused because, you know, Danella told me you ended abruptly. What happened? You ended abruptly. And I was like, yeah, I looked at the time and I just went, oops. And I thought I was done and I still had more PowerPoint. So I showed it the next day. Yeah, graciously, you know? So yeah, I mean, you know, what the heck? I am used to live events, just like we all are, and this was my first real close. I mean, I did it at my one day, but it was a much smaller choice. So this one, yeah, I just had a good lesson, good practice.
And Arvee, one question in reference to the number of individuals that are interested in your program, percentage-wise, when you compare a live audience in delivering the offer versus the Zoom, what's the difference in the percentage of the number of people in the room
Oh,
versus
50%, without a doubt.
no, in reference to the number of people that are going to take the program, the 1 year or the 6 month program? Didn't you offer your $1 million?
Yeah.
So
So
the
normally,
percentage, I'm just wondering what's
Well,
more effective.
live is more effective because then
Definitely.
people can
Yeah,
get to
exactly.
know you and yeah, it's just more effective live. I'm not
Definitely, I
saying you
know.
can't close a lot of people on Zoom. You can, but again,
Yeah.
it takes practice. And
Right.
you know, that was my first shot at it. So yeah, so I only did 50% of what I normally do.
Mhm.
Right, a little less than 50%. So
Yeah.
now I'm following up. Which, if this was a you know, paid hotel with food, that wouldn't be good. I've lost my shirt before. And Jean was in an event that I lost my shirt. And this is the other lesson. So the first lesson is maybe a little too much PowerPoint. Okay. The second lesson is messing up the clothes. The third is language. Be careful of the language. And the fourth, and this is what I did at the one she was at where I lost. If you do too much on stage or have too many people on stage, then your message can get lost. All right. So I think a little bit was happening there because I was loving too much on the sponsors. At least I felt I did. Did I? Did I
No.
love too much on the sponsors?
I think you did just enough.
Okay.
They felt loved.
Okay, good. Because see, normally the sponsors are in the hallway, right? Everybody has to pass them. They're on their own. I don't even introduce them until the third day.
Right.
But this time I tried, you know, because again, they're all concerned that they're getting their ROI, right? So I made sure that I did extra, that gave them attention, made sure they did their 30-second and talked about the sponsors and go in the sponsor booth. Now, CJ, you were a sponsor. What was like, take off your DJ CJ hat and put on your sponsor hat. What do you think? As a sponsor, how did you feel? Did you feel loved? Did you feel like you got enough time? What? Tell me.
I have mixed results. So I think that you did a great job giving people the time. You know, I think allowing everyone to have that 30 seconds to introduce themselves and say what their free gift was, I think that was very valuable. And it makes absolute sense that you would spread the sponsors across the time, you know, across the 3 days to do that. That totally made sense to me. I would say that I didn't have as many people come through the booth as I would have liked, as I would have hoped to. And yet I also know that that's just a matter of it being a new situation, a new experience. I believe it wasn't intentional or malicious, but just that not all the people totally understood exactly what to do or how to do it. And certainly there were those who did. I did get people coming through the booth, so I know it was working. I at least met one person every time it was open, for the most part. And then there was a couple times I had, 3 or 4 or 5 maybe at once, which was an anomaly, but still it happened. So I just think it's new, and it's a new environment. And of course, if we were in the hallway and they had to walk by us each time going in, it would be different, right? So it's just new, and we're all learning, I think, how to do it.
And I think also, if you think about, I see you, Dr. Renee, hang on one second.
Okay.
But also, and Danella told me this, that just because of the age group, my age group, there is quite a few people who were Zoom challenged.
Sure.
And that could be. Now, Bill, not to pick on a gray beard, but did you go into any of the sponsor booths yourself? You're muted. Yeah, tell us your experience from, a technical point of view. Did you have trouble? Did you just stay away, or what?
Well, one of them I sat outside forever and couldn't get in.
Oh.
But I did get into 3 of them, I think. And I did pick up most of the free gifts, so I'm getting all kinds of emails.
Good. CJ, here's the thing too, and that'll do. Bill, you that was good, because some people get frustrated if they try to go into one and it doesn't work. And the only reason why it didn't work, Bill, is because that sponsor didn't open up their Zoom room. They were either gone or, so it's like, if you hit a couple of those and nobody's there and you don't know enough about Zoom to know, hey, they just didn't open up their room, then it gets frustrating. Now, here's a way to avoid that. I'll tell you guys and girls the magic way to, if you do an event, because I've seen this done, but I didn't want to do it this way, and I'll tell you why. All right, so one of the best things to do is, or one of the other ways to do it, is you have a one central area. So Bill comes in this one Zoom room, and then you do breakouts, different breakouts, right? Or every person has a Zoom room, right? But they have a colleague in it at all times, right? That's 2. 3 is you as the promoter has a separate computer yourself and a separate Zoom account for all of your sponsors, and then you have somebody monitoring it. And that's how some of the big people do it that go into the studios, because they want to control the sponsor rooms. They want to not only, open it, but they want to say so when they close it, and they'll just shut you down. They'll just turn it off, right? Well, I didn't want to do any of those things, so I let everybody have their own, and it's on the honor system. And I did have some volunteers, the speakers, go in, and it's in the morning one, and say, we got to get to the main session. The evening one, it didn't matter, but the lunch and the morning, it did. Everybody needed to get to the main session. So those are kind of 3 or 4 different ways that you can handle that. Also, CJ, it would be great, and I don't know, we can't really do this, but wouldn't it be great if we could do something where we had a sign that said open, the sponsor booth, this one's open and this one's closed, and, and then that would prevent that kind of frustration.
Absolutely. Bill brings up an excellent point. Not all the sponsors were in their booths at the time with it open. Ideally, that would have happened, and I don't know if it ever really happened. I don't know. I was only in my booth, right? So who knows what they were doing. But I heard that same thing.
Yeah, I hit it as well. So I went out to the sponsor booths. I hit, sometimes I'd hit a sponsor booth where it wasn't open at all. And others where the waiting room I got stuck in the waiting room and not let in. And so that's something like, it's just new to the environment, first time this kind of an event. So, and it's probably the first time for the sponsors to this kind of event too. So.
Absolutely. And I only think it'll get better. Next year around, et cetera, totally different. People will be used to it. They'll go to every room, zip, 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 and feel comfortable with it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But again, the sponsors have got to be in their room, and if they're not, then they need to, I don't know, tell us so we can at least announce it or something, and also I had quite a few sponsors too, less booths might have been the answer too, Okay, Dr. Renee had her hand up first, and then Dr. Marianne. We've got a couple of doctors in the house. Yay, we're so fortunate.
Okay, Harvey, you're so funny.
I love Jason's thing, JC, right?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Awesome. All right, Dr. Renee.
Okay, so my suggestion for next time, or when we do these the 3 days, is what you said, and I had already planned my lunch and breakfast already, is have it prepared. Remember you said, oh, I just came back. I had my food prepared for the 3 days, prepped, salad, whatever it is.
Right.
So all you have to do is throw it in the microwave quickly and come out and eat in front of everybody, or just put a cover over it, over the eye of the computer, eat, and just sort of be prepared so that you're not messing around in the kitchen searching for something to eat. And the sponsors can do the same thing too. And if they have this prep done, and if they have to go to the bathroom, the ladies' room or the men's room for anything, do it while you're talking, so that they're there and present when it's time for their booths or their thing to be open, and be present with people coming in. Because it's kind of like a booth is there, but there's nobody there, and they're paying a lot of money to be present. So even if they leave that split second, people are not going to come back.
Right.
So that the food is very important, and not to drink so much water so we don't have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Or something. Or hydrate the day before, or a few days before, and then to hydrate at 4 o'clock. And then, so if you have to go to the bathroom, it's after the event is over with. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. One of the I sponsored 2 virtual events myself, again, just to get in on the sponsor side and see what that looked like and what that felt like. And both of these events were from back east. So they start at 11 o'clock, right? So then they don't have, it's 11 o'clock, no, it's 8 o'clock our time. 8 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock their time, right? So they've mostly ate their lunch, breakfast and lunch already or whatever. So then, but they do have a lunch break, but they don't have it for about, 3.5 hours in or whatever. And both of them did not give the sponsors time to eat. So now I'm sponsor every time we had a break or dinner or whatever, I didn't get dinner and I didn't get lunch, and I didn't know ahead of time to go ahead and make it and then eat while the conference is going on, which I could have done, So I wanted to make sure sponsors had time to eat, at least 30 minutes, so that was unique, because these other ones, they didn't get time to eat, the sponsors. So, okay, now I'm going to go to Marianne and then CJ. I want to come back to you because I want you to address what Jackie said a little bit about. She said she was exhausted. I want you to talk about that, what you shared with me the other day about, the conferences being virtual. All right, Dr. Marianne.
I was going to share that I was very interested in talking to Karen Strauss. And even though I had some questions, I was hoping other people would benefit from them. She hooked me in, and I appreciated hearing from her right away. And I even had a meeting with her today. So I love the gifts that the sponsors had and the way they communicated right away. I think I connected with 4 or 5 of the sponsors.
Beautiful.
It's really nice.
Good. Good. Do you see my balloons? Marianne and Brenda and
Dawn
and all the masterminders got me these beautiful balloons.
They're all flat.
Champagne, almost flat. And the champagne glass I was showing somebody, Dawn was laughing at me because I was showing somebody and poof, it got into my ceiling fan and broke. Yeah.
Aw.
But I've been enjoying them, and I used them at the CBP meeting this morning for celebration as well. So, Anyway, okay, so let's go to CJ. Where did he go? He switched gears on me. There we go.
I'm adjusting my lighting just a little bit there for you.
Okay, looks good. Looks good. Look at Jackie. Look at her lighting.
She's got it. It looks beautiful.
It was a Zoom setting.
Great.
Yeah, it looks fabulous. Okay, go ahead, CJ. Explain to, what you shared with me. I think so valuable.
Yeah. What Jackie was observing about the Zoom butt phenomenon and the fatigue, this is a very real thing. And what they're studying is they're studying the way that we're consuming this media, right? This Zoom meetings. And it's easy to assume that because it's in your own office or because you don't have to drive somewhere to get there, that would make it easier, that would make it, less work for you in a way. But what they're actually finding is that this format is very taxing on our minds because of the way that your brain is always trying to filter information. And just by the nature of it being a call, there's little gaps in the video, and there's, it's not synchronized with the audio, or it rushes and it catches up, or there's so many people on the screen. That's a lot of sensory input coming at you all the time. And it's so much more bombarding you than it would be if we were in a room together and I could turn my head and look at each one of you individually and process you. It's just such a different thing, the way this hits our brain. And it absolutely is a tremendous amount of fatigue sets in because your brain is always trying to fill in those gaps between the audio and the visual. And it is very exhausting. They say that it's actually less fatigue for you to get in your car, drive to an event, have a several-hour event, get back in your car, drive home. It's actually not as much sensory input driving a car on the freeway as it is in this environment driving your computer with 100 people moving and popping around. So for what it's worth, it is a very real thing.
Excellent. Let me ask Jason, are you rocking out or are you just agreeing with CJ?
I'm totally agreeing with CJ, given that my typical week involves anywhere between 9 to 15 hours worth of Zoom, and between company meetings and webinars that I've signed up for, the leadership programs. Yes, I completely agree with him on that. I'm well observant about who is speaking and what kind of energy that they're bringing, and let alone how these workshops are set up. And right now, the training that we receive on these calls and what I observed over the $1 Million Speaker Summit weekend, it's in conjunction with CJ is saying, there were some very good elements that really, even though this might have put some exhaustion on the audience, what I was really impressed with was the fact that I observed the participant numbers were consistent from day in and day out. You always had at least 100 people from beginning to end. And there's something to be said about that, because I don't observe that in the number on the other workshop calls that I'm on. So there's something good in everything that I can learn from this, as well as what CJ said. So I agree with that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, this is my 5th Zoom today, right? I had a couple of coaching calls and strategy sessions and my networking this morning. But I don't feel like what you're saying, CJ. I get it. But the way my brain is processing, I'm okay with all of this. I like it, because I can get a lot more, see a lot more, do a lot more, than just telephone or something like that. So I don't have that same fatigue. I get up when I need to, I make sure I eat lunch. But I'm not feeling that. And I did the whole 3 days. I didn't feel any more exhausted than if I did live,
I'll have to share that I do, in my experience, which is why, thank goodness, in physical, as personal trainers, that I'm able to offset this by going out to train clients and actually work out on my own. So I think CJ really is touching on a point there, that we need to get the balance, because those of us that are spending excessive amount of time in front of for Zoom meetings, we get that sedentary position and our bodies do get a fix for a certain length of time, and we do need some activity to offset that. So
That's true. And
yeah, I
I,
agree with him on that.
I have a personal trainer too that I work out with twice a week. Yeah, that helps. And Jackie's running. Go ahead. Well, let me see. Lisa had her hand up first, and then Jackie.
I was just gonna agree with you, Arvee. I'm loving the meeting because I'm more in control of being, I mean, if I just have to get up because I'm feeling drowsy, I mean, if I were in a live meeting, if I'm not sitting in the back, then I feel like I'm disrupting the meeting, or, all eyes are on me. But when I'm at home, I can turn my video off. I could stretch if I need to. I'm in control, and it's comfortable for me. So I have cushions, I have my water, I have everything I need right here. But at the same time, I don't have to commute. I don't have to put on any special clothes. I don't have, and last year I got a speeding ticket. So, so that wasn't too fun.
You walk every single morning. So that helps too, right? Tell everybody how far you walk.
Anywhere from 5 to 7 miles.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
I stopped walking when those fires because the air quality was really, really bad. But but for me, I love it, and I love both. I like this because I went to the $1 Million Speaker Summit last year, and this year, because it's only 3 days, so I've got 4 other days to be active and just really, get my energy up. And so for me, I'm with you, Arvee, on that. I could do this all the time, and I'm good with it. Eat at home, eat my own food, my own. So I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. We'll go to Jackie, and then we'll go to Liz. Oh, but everybody say hi to Dottie. Dottie is new. Hi, Dottie.
Hi, Dottie.
Hi, Dottie.
Hi, Dottie.
Hi, everybody.
In a little bit, I'll have you introduce yourself. So she was
okay.
$1. So we're gonna go Jackie and then Liz.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to not agree with you, Lisa, because I'm an active person, and being in front of a computer all day is just really taxing to me. And Arvee, I think the reason it doesn't tire you is because you're actively engaged, and the rest of us are just participants. So it's a little more difficult to be actively engaged when you're just watching and trying to focus. And thanks for that, CJ. I thought maybe it was just me.
Very good point, Jackie. And again, I think we're all different. I just think we're all different, and our brains work a little differently. Remember, I came from the technical side of the world, before I got into the creative side. So I've got this, I think more of a left brain than a right brain. Remember my art? Remember that? Well, my singing is just as bad. But maybe that, more of the left side working helps. I don't know. But I think it's an individual experience.
And perhaps I could add that, Arvee, I bet you've built up a tolerance to it, because I know you've been using Zoom specifically for several years now to meet with people.
2015. Mm-hmm. So 5 years. You're right.
But for someone who's never really used this or done this, it can be very exhausting. To go from nothing to everything is a big leap.
You're absolutely right. All right, let's go to Marianne. And hello, Jean. Good to see you. You got it working. Great. All right, Dr. Marianne.
I like the Zoom because I tutor online, I train online. So if I have to go to the restroom, I just click my stop video and run and come right back because it's right here. And I think making the lunches was very helpful. I don't know if there's a way to get people to move around at home, but I like the Zoom, and the same reason as Lisa has, just the driving, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Not to be driving everywhere.
And I want to say, that's what I was trying to do with the dancing and get people up. And boy, Bill Popko, he was like doing some smooth moves. He was standing up. Yeah, he was dancing. We got you on video. Oh, no. Yeah, we got it on video. All right, Liz.
I just want to say a couple of things. I think one of the things too with the Zoom, because I did feel tired like Jackie too periodically. And I think one of the issues is that we're staring at the screen for so long So what I found out that helped me was to look away from the screen, because your eye muscles are so constricted. So if you look, and I'm facing a window, which helps. So then I relax my eyes and look outside and kind of do a little bit of that kind of a stretching of the muscle. That helps. And then the other thing that I think is critical, because as you know, it's important to have good body posture, and it's important to have the right chair. Remember, that's one of the ergonomic issues that people have. And although we may not be typing, the back support and the structure, how we align with our spinal cord has a lot to do with the tiredness. I recognize that when I'm feeling and I slouch, I feel more tired. So then I erect myself and it helps. But my eye exercise and my sitting up has helped me, sit through long Zoom with several days. And that's what I did over the weekend when we had Arvee's thing. I recognize it worked for me.
Arvee? Yes. Just to show you this, see this really quick, what Liz was saying? This holds your computer. You see this? And it goes up and down. So if you're looking down or looking up and you have the proper chair, what Liz was saying, if you have the proper thing that holds your computer, this is also from Amazon. We bought this with a Blue Yeti. Isn't this nice? And it holds the computer and it goes up and down. Meaning
is that for a laptop, you mean?
A laptop, iPad. So it's very helpful. Or you can raise your camera up higher with another doodad of some sort. I know these doodads get a little bit costly, but it's definitely worth it if you're on Zoom all the time. And this is how we make our money. Our money is on Zoom calls, and we got to make ourselves comfortable. The right food, the right alkaline water, the right cushion for our tushes, the right pillow, and the right vitamins. And our pets around us. I had my dog with me, and it's just really nice. And if we can make money doing this, and then maybe take a break and take a quick walk, in between, or dancing again. I just want to say that. That was when CJ put the dancing out with the music, it just got me, oh, I love that. So that was good. Okay, I'm complete. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, Jean. I'm saying that's cool, Dr. Renee.
Oh, okay, thank you. It's
your
cool.
Little gizmo, your little gizmo.
Yeah, a gizmo, another one. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Jean.
Well, first of all, congratulations on a wonderful conference. It was just stellar. I thought you really mastered Zoom better than anyone I've ever seen. And I have to say that the hours worked out well for me because I started at 11. So I'm kind of a night owl, so it's better for me to start later. But I was able to get some other things done. It didn't absorb the whole day. But I did feel like the lunchtime was rushed because I mean, if you have a call to answer or even a text to send that eats up 10 minutes, I would actually go lay down and take a 5-minute power nap. Mm-hmm. And I'd set my alarm and do that. Or just, do some breathing and just get in a whole different position. But it wouldn't be enough time to say, take a 10-minute walk around the block, which would just revive, a little bit better. I did feel my only real fatigue, because I was just so, my attention was held all the time. Throughout. I think when I kind of started hitting a wall was Saturday at the end. And I think I would have been done maybe a couple of hours sooner.
Okay.
But
nice.
Yeah, but I appreciated, I appreciated you staying open and, opening up the rooms for people having the sponsors again, because I felt like it was hard to get in to see the sponsors with just everything going like this.
Going so fast.
Just kind of rapid fire kind of. Yeah. And so just some time to mill around. Like when I do the writers workshop here, we have tables for the authors with their books, and if we don't allow some time for them to mill around, we start getting complaints or time to talk and network with each other. And, you know, so we've had to extend some of our breaks out just for people to process and visit and network. But I thought that the engagement was really good. I think people felt bonded to one another, and a lot of new relationships were forged. And I'm excited about some of the sponsors that I met and talked with. And so, yeah, I think it went really well.
One of the things too, and all of you know, because you've been in my community for a while, but I kept from newer people that I just met, you know, again, by speaking and everything, they were like, oh, I've never been to an event where, you know, there's so many women of faith and men and women of faith, and they're all so nice and everybody's so loving and, you know, like this. And, you know, so, you know, that's very cool to hear, but I didn't realize out there that there's not that kind of community that's created, or people that create that kind of community. And I'm all about community, you know, and creating it. So that was kind of cool to hear. So thank you, Jean, for that. And I kind of wrestled with the time for lunch myself, because in the virtual world, it's like you don't want too long, because then you could lose people from coming back. They get busy doing something else, you know. So I think I'm still feeling that one out as far as, you know, what's a good amount of time. Maybe it's 75 minutes, but I agree 30 minutes was not enough. Wasn't enough for me either. And then I had to rush back in for the, you know, VIP lunch, and then we had to rush with that so the sponsors could get, you know, 30 minutes. So let's hear from some other of you, maybe CJ or somebody else, about the lunch. And how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'd love to just throw in 2 cents on that. That's a great point, you know, and it's, again, it's a virtual versus real life thing. In the real life world, we would have all gone into that room together, and our lunch, our VIP lunch would have been together. We would have been eating together. They would have brought us the food. There wouldn't have been that rush of having to eat first. So I think it's just this format, right? We had to have that time to actually go get the lunch or prepare it or eat it or whatever before we got back in class, got back on, you know, what normally is we're eating and talking became another, you know, talking time, not necessarily eating time. Does that make sense? So yeah. That's certainly very true. And so on the schedule, we had a 2-hour lunch break, you know, from noon to 2, or from 12:30 to 2. Yeah. Right? So that looked like enough time. Yeah, but you know, once you're right, once we add in, it really just became a half an hour before the VIP and then before the sponsor booths opened again. So excellent. Okay, let's meet. You got to go, Dr. Renee?
Yeah, sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry.
That's Thank okay.
You. Love to see everybody. Good luck. God bless you. Have a great week.
All right.
God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye, Brenda. Bye, Liz. Bye,
Okay.
CJ. Great job.
So we will go in just a minute, but I want us to meet Dottie. Dottie?
Yes.
You turn off your camera. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do and how experienced you are and all the training you've had so far.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dottie Earhart. And can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Can hear you
okay.
Great.
And I am one of the people that said to Arvee, I love the people in your group. They are so nice, which is why I'm here today. I'm like, I was so happy to hear about this event that she has, because I just had such lovely interchange with the few people that I got to talk to. So anyway, I live in San Diego, California. I'm originally from Arlington, Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C. I was, because I had brilliant training, my first course was just like phenomenal and made me top in my field for 35 years. I was a realtor at that time. I'm not anymore. And I then got, then I attained something that was on my bucket list, which was move to San Diego, California, where my daughter used to live, unfortunately used to. And so I came to California, and I spent years and years, I've spent years and years in training looking for that magic bullet that I had when I was 29 that made work so effortless for me. And so I've taken tons and tons and tons of training. And it's been hard. I'm just turned 75, and the technology really does me in. But what I want to do is I'm also a very strong Christian, and I want to teach women, CJ, no offense, I want to teach women that I have been with for the last 5 years, not just them, but I want to teach any women who are great at what they do, who really offer people a wonderful service that will really help them and help their family. And I want to teach them to get more yeses when they make their offers, and to reduce their stress so they don't just hate that part so much. So that's what I do.
Very good. Well, welcome, Dottie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. And there's more, you're on your phone, so you probably can't see everybody, but there's more men here than CJ. There's Bill, there's Don, there's Jason. So we have some in here. Yeah.
No offense, guys. I couldn't see you.
That's okay. Well, welcome, Dottie. And next week, I hope you can get on a little earlier. Now, I just want to say hey to Deidre, because she's been sitting here so patient. She's the only one on this Zoom call that didn't go to $1 Million. So we're so sorry you missed it, but we had a good time, and I hope you come next year. But Deidre, what do you think, like a person that's just, you know, kind of observing and a fly on the wall about what we're all talking about? I'm sure you've got some experience in this, because you're a virtual assistant, so I know you've had a lot of virtual experience. So what is your take on all this?
Yeah, it's really great hearing everybody and your and learning from myself for future reference, possibly, you know, what's going on. Yeah, it does take a lot of organization, and it is different. I don't do, for my business, I don't do events really, but so I know that's a completely different ball game.
But as a virtual assistant, have you done like Zoom virtually for a long time with your clients, or do you just do phone or email? How do you virtually work?
Well, yeah, no, pretty much it's just phone or email, and I have one that I Skype with a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but mostly what I do Zoom is things like this. So I've been an attendee more than organizing it or something.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's good to know all the ins and outs, you know.
Okay. Was that my noise, or I'm not sure.
There's nice going on in my house, so that's probably it.
It's all good.
I'll mute myself again.
So Janine, you're the only other person we haven't heard much from. Janine, do you want to talk, or should I go get the bag? Put it over my head. Awesome. Janine.
We know she's finished packing up the groceries now, Janine. So let's see you.
Okay, well, we're right at 5.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. You know,
Share.
in my I'm a Zoom challenged, I guess, because this has been a huge adjustment for me. And I've done a lot of conferences and spoke and all of that for 35 years. And trying to feel inclusive when you're on the computer, the comparison, it just pales in comparison. I'm a people person. You know, I've been to Arvee's events, live events. You know, I've went to Ontario, and where else did I go, Arvee? But this was, and I'm older now. I'm 15 years older. I'm 67. And I'm a diabetic. So I have to consider all of that. And I've changed my diet So I do a drink in the morning and I walk the dog. So that first day, Thursday, oh my God, I had to get a new phone. So I was on there with him and we finished at 5 after 9 and I still hadn't showered. And I swear, you know, it was like I got on at 9:30 Thursday and it was action packed, but my neck was hurting and I was like, oh, when is lunch? You know, so I can eat my salad that's not going to last for very long, but I need my salad. And it just, I don't know. I guess I just have to continue to work on the adjustment, even the hat, because yesterday I went to the doctor and went to the bank and they told me to take my hat off and my hair was like looking like hell. So I got mad and just pissed and turned around and walked out of the bank and went to OG's and got me a personal thin crust pizza. And see, and I haven't been eating pizza for 6 months. So I guess, and the length of it to 8, I just, after 6:30, I couldn't move any further.
Got it.
So by the time I got some sleep, Saturday wasn't bad for me at all. And and being lost, like in the waiting room, I guess, or lost when I wanted to see one of the sponsors. So I think I caught maybe 2 or 3 of them that I wanted to see. But I just felt rushed. I really did.
Okay,
and I've
that's
done
good to know.
conferences. You know, I facilitated conferences on my own. So this is just different. Zoom is different.
Yeah, yeah.
For me.
Yeah, well, that's really good to know that you felt rushed. Yeah. Okay, Lisa.
Well, I was just going to tell Janine really quick, don't be insulted by the bank asking you to take your hat off, because even long before COVID, the credit union out here and the banks have signs when you walk in the door, no hats, no sunglasses, no hoodies. They didn't want walk in there with any of that. So they weren't picking on you. It's kind of been that way. I don't know if you knew that.
But my bank, I mean, I go to the bank. I've been in San Diego Credit Union for 30 years. Take my hat off. I was thinking about people who had cancer and might have felt uncomfortable about it.
Right.
Being asked, or someone with head wraps on, an African with a head wrap on. What do they do in that situation?
Well, I don't think that. I think it's more like the ball cap, the dark sunglasses, and wearing a hoodie.
No, I take my sunglasses off. I see that.
Yeah.
I take my sunglasses off.
But I don't think it was personal. And I don't like a beautiful, colorful scarf, decorative. I don't think they would have a problem with that. It's the ball caps. And
Very interesting. I'm going to wear a hat to the bank tomorrow and just see what happens.
It's on signs on the credit unions out here, so I just thought I'd throw that in.
It's like they're worried about a robber robbing. That's why they don't, you know, you could hide a gun under the hat or whatever. But guess what? We're all wearing masks now.
So I know.
It's like a robber could come in with a mask and nobody's going to think twice about it. But you got to take your hat off.
Yeah, they don't want it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay.
Well, we better go. It's just been so fun. Does anybody have any last words before we go?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Just, I just wanted to get these 2 points out. One is, Arvee, thank you for an incredible weekend. Thank you for sharing with us, Lorena. Particularly because your aesthetic, your presence, your beauty just really came out. I saw why you have Lorena as an esthetician, and she really tipped me. I intended to stay in touch with her, but your skin was glowing all weekend.
Yeah.
I loved how Sunday the blue dress matched with your blue eyes, and the red dress was right there. Everything about what you talk about, how you dress the set, even starts with you, and it really resonated. That's the first point. So thank you for your presence. The last thing is thank you, Arvee, again for bringing together the feminine community, the feminine energy. Every time that I'm on training sessions, calls, these MDSs, I'm marveled by the energy that the women have brought to these functions. And Levy's message, we have Dr. Marianne, We have Lorena. Cheryl has got some mad game. It's nothing shy on the men, but I am extremely grateful for the presence of the feminine energy out there and the women that are making a difference, taking your training, getting their voices out there, getting their businesses done. It really does a lot to elevate my game and improve my quality of life. And so I just really say with an extreme bit of greater gratitude, thank you. Thank you, and I revere you all. That's me. Thank you for allowing me to share.
You're welcome. Thank you. I just love how you articulate everything and just make everybody feel good. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your story once again. Did all of you, I mean, do you ever get tired of hearing Jason's story?
No.
You know, I've heard even Danella said that, you know, that's the best. She's heard your story, you know, for 5 years. So she said that was the best telling of it she's ever heard. So good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job with that. Yeah. I think every telling is good, but that was.
And I want to throw it back to Arvee and say what a tremendous job you did putting on this event. Of course it was new. Of course it was different. Of course there were glitches and people didn't know how to do everything. But I really got the sense of the virtual simulation of the real thing. And people walked in and they checked in at the registration desk and they came in the ballroom and they got their seat and they got to chat with one another and they could visit the sponsor booths. I think you did an amazing job of creating that same environment and that same community feeling. And I think a lot of people were still feeling that and still very involved. So
yeah.
That's awesome.
Amen. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And back at you, I loved, CJ, how you would say, come on in, pick your seat, you know, get in your seat. I mean, that, all of that, you know, contributed in the music.
That made a big difference. Yeah.
Made a big difference. I mean, so, you know, it was right back at you because I couldn't have done it without you. Would not have had that same feeling if I tried or if I had somebody that wasn't quite involved, or heaven forbid if we did have that Mark guy be the MC, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
So CJ stepped in at the last minute when we realized the proposed MC didn't know anything about Zoom. We're like, oh, we're in trouble, you know. And he comes to the dress rehearsal and what? Like, he's outside, he's on his phone, he's got some hat on. We're like, this is a dress rehearsal, dude. You know? You need to have your virtual background up. What's a virtual background? Oh my God. Yeah. So see, not putting him down. It's just he, you know, we were just wondering where have you been for the past 6 months? Other than that, you know. CJ just, you know, CJ, you just stepped up again. You had multiple roles: DJ, sponsor, you know, and the MC, and you just did a fabulous job with all of it. And I'm forever indebted to you for that, and grateful and connected. You will always be there for me. You know, always at any event I do, it'll be CJ with me, part of my team. So I appreciate
My pleasure. Thank you.
I think that's a great plan because you both work very well together, and the upbeat, the music, and the, you know, CG added another dimension to a virtual event. So thanks.
I agree.
Yes,
I
I can't wait to do it again. Yay.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, we better go. Dawn, are we talking at 5:30 or not?
That was the plan.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
Yep.
All right.
So I just need to, Janine, did you get my email? Did I get your email correct?
I'll look for it. I didn't check. I'll check.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, good. All right, Marianne, are you getting ready to go for dinner, huh? All right, everybody. It's been great. I enjoyed the conversation today. Thank you for all your feedback and your love and support. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
For you.
Bye.
Bye.